From the depths of the sea, back to the block, going off is back again. Back to give you some more of that shit. Back to give you some more shit to complain about and get angry at us for because we're too PCJ or
PB and J.
We're too PB and J for these motherfuckers. You can't handle it. You can't handle it because we're making you feel bad about the opinions that you used to have. And you might actually have to think about them now. And so you're like, why'd you make me have to think about shit? Why can't I just subtly hate things in peace? But we won't let you do it because it's a Going Out podcast and we're fucking back again. Muse, how are you doing?
I'm good. And this week we're going to have some fun. And if you ain't careful, you might just learn something before it's done. We got a guest coming on later, Nora Reed, to talk about some stuff, some YouTube drama, some fun stuff like that. And we got an album review from the legendary Snoop with an album that I had no idea came out.
Can we just say, like, as a persona, he's mainstream, but as, like, the actual rapper, I would say he's kind of an underground rapper right now.
Dude, he even features KRS-One on the album, whose newest album is on Bandcamp.
Did you know he's put out an album every single year since 2015?
No, I didn't.
And you wouldn't know it if you were looking at the charts.
No. Hell no. Wasn't the last thing he was even, like, got anything for was that, sexual seduction?
No, it was, so what, we have fun, so what, we smoke weed.
I wouldn't even fucking give him that. That's fucking whiz.
Okay, the movie that he did, the Mac and Dre go to high school. I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you and Todd did that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we talked about it because we were like, oh, well, this seems like it's going to be a really big thing because there's this huge single called Young, Wild, and Free that's off of it. But as far as I've seen, let the internet tell it, no one has fucking even seen this movie.
No. I don't know a single person that's seen it. I haven't.
How does this happen? Like, this feels like when you have a tax write-off. Like,
oh, yeah.
They just made a cheap-ass movie and just threw it out for a tax write-off. We're like, okay, but seriously, we gotta work on, like, an actual song. Because there is an album for this movie.
Yeah.
But the movie feels like an afterthought to the album.
The movie was made for the album.
Yeah, it's basically a backwards vanity project.
You know, I think that's how, The Wall happened. The Pink Floyd movie. They had the album first.
Oh, so you're saying this is Snoop Dogg's The Wall?
Yes, absolutely.
Future generations will be trying to figure out the genius behind the imagery of mystical as the blunt.
I gotta go back. Give that album and movie some love. Maybe I'm missing out.
Yeah, you're not.
Dude, but before we get to that album, before we get to Snoop, D-O-double-G, offgoers, gather round, pull up your favorite blanket and or mat, and sit down, because you boys have got a story to tell. You were originally approached by a big-time, big-shot record label.
Yeah, a representative, yes.
Yeah, not for an album deal, as I'm sure you would have liked, but instead to participate in a promo video for a band's upcoming, was it even a music video or just like a promo?
It was a promo for their album, but they only asked us to review like the big song from it. Which is kind of confusing. I was like, wait, you want us to do a promo that's going to be on like the promotional material for the album, but you only want us to do it for one song. So wait, like, yeah, I didn't just want to ask it for free shit, but at the same time, like, if you want us to talk about the album, we need to hear the album. It's like, do you know how this reviewing thing works? We can't just talk about shit we haven't heard before, but we haven't heard yet. We're not Yahoo.
You got approached first. You dropped my name as someone that might also potentially be interested, and initially I was. I thought it was an interesting little thing. I thought it'd be fun. Looked up the band on Spotify. They looked pretty cool. I saw the recommended or similar artists, and a lot of them were bands I listened to.
Yeah, and the music was dope. The single I listened to was dope. The music video was dope.
Notice how all of this is in past tense and what is that? Figurative or hyperbole?
What would have happened?
Yeah, what would have happened is, we would have had some fun, would have done this promo thing. Here is where it gets funny. Now, we're not going to say what record label, because we're just not going to do that. That's not our style. But, rest assured, it's a biggin'. And, they wanted ya boys to work for exposure.
Yo.
No.
Look, I'm flattered that they're thinking of us. You know what I mean? Like, they know we exist. They just don't want to pay us yet.
Yeah, I think it's fun that they think, like, they're aware of the whole, oh god, I hate this term, but the review-averse. They know it's a thing. They know the content creators are out there doing their music reviews on YouTube, and I imagine they saw it as like a, hey, you know what would be a cute idea if we had all these content creators who sit around all day and trash music or whatever to trash the single from this band's upcoming new single. Wouldn't that be great? But the whole point was for us to hate it. That was the point of the video.
Yeah, like we were purposely gonna be like, oh man, I hate this song, da da da.
Yeah. Even if we liked it, we had to act like we didn't.
Yeah.
On the surface, that sounds like a great idea. The more I think about it, the more hackneyed that sounds.
Well, because it sounds bad because it's like, it's actually a good song, and it feels like it's making a joke out of the idea of reviewing. Because it's not like we're joke reviewers. We are actually reviewing this shit. We are actually thinking critically about it. It's not like, you know, when we come up with a review, we're just coming up with the silliest things that we want to say anyway. No, if we like it, we're actually going to say things that we like about it. But to say, hey, trash this thing anyway, does kind of feel like it's cheapening the idea of what we do.
Yeah, it just makes us look like haters. We both sent different letters back saying that we weren't interested. We had two schools of approach. Yours went the classy, I'm busy, which is not a lie.
Well,
you've got a lot of shit going on.
Because it's not like, oh, we have like a month to do it. They were just like, hey, we need this by Friday.
That's right, yeah. Like we had like 2 or 3 days notice.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we might be able to extend it to Monday. And I was like, and I was saying to him, I was like, hey, we were talking about all the things that we wanted to do, all the ideas, and we said, and, the last email I sent was like, hey, because I'm doing another video and I have to do this video, I'm going to be working double shifts for it. It would be nice if I got a little change on the side, just to like...
A little scratch.
Yeah, just to help me out. And they're like, oh, well, the thing that she says, we're on a shoestring budget, so we can't really, like, do this. And I was like, I just sat back, I was like, motherfucker, no, you ain't.
Shoestring my ass. That is bullshit. Either you're not willing to pay, or you don't want to.
That's not me hating on her. That's not even me hating on her. I know she was probably told by her superiors, now, don't actually do no shit where you actually need to pay these motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was definitely the label. I'm not going to blame the PR person who reached out because, just doing your job. I get it.
And they were just hoping that we would be so, like, humbled by a big label reaching out to us that we would just, oh, sure, we'll throw all this together for you. And I don't think they understand how much time really goes into these videos that they'll probably never look up or ever really see.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
And I don't think they mean to disrespect us on purpose, but I just don't think they think about all the work that really goes into it because, and the reason why, what did you say? You said something different. So I told him, well, I'm busy because I have to work on this. Sorry. Hey, if there's ever a future project, let me know,
The email I sent them back was saying, this is taking time out of the videos I would normally be making. And I said something to the effect of, and I'm not above saying that I believe I should be compensated for my work and my time. And that, as content creators, we're struggling to make any revenue off YouTube. I didn't get a YouTube check last month for the first time in months. And for someone to just come up and ask for work for nothing, I told him it felt like it was exploiting us. And she wrote back and said, I understand you guys got to make a living, have fun or whatever. But honestly, like, I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for this video because I'm curious as to who they're going to get for it, if anyone. But I really don't want to think about them taking advantage of other content creators.
Well, see, the reason why, because originally I was thinking about doing just to be like, hey, it'll be throwing my name out there, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, see, if I think it's good to say no to these people, specifically because for the next time, they're going to expect it for free as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to cut people off here and be like, yo, I believe that there is this amount of quality to my work, and I believe that in order to do that work, I need to be getting paid.
It would be dangerous to set that tone for them to, just be entitled to, oh, it's the internet, it's content creators, it's people on YouTube. Like, I still don't understand how we're still in this mentality that people who make content for a living will be fine with working for exposure.
For any of my creators out there that follow me that are creators, man, don't let people take advantage of you. We have to set a standard for, what it means to create content for people. We have to set a standard. We have to value the hours that we put into stuff. Because I know there's probably people out there that are like, they see the Rap Critic Show and they just see the cutting back and forth between clips and they're just like, what? You didn't do anything. All you do is just react to it. No. I research shit. I write shit. Editing takes a lot longer than you think it does.
This week on the Going Off podcast, we are joined by special guest Nora Reed. Nora, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the audience and just tell them a little bit about what you do.
So I am an artist and a bot maker and an activist. My main thing that I do is I make a bunch of Twitter bots that generate various kinds of mostly jokes and thought experiments and other experiments using the generative content format. But I also do activism work, trans work, some socialist stuff. Having to wear 10 different hats thing that I think all millennials end up doing when they're not doing a regular employment gig.
Wait, can I say the first thing?
Yeah.
Are we calling ourselves millennials? Like, because I feel like I don't know how to take this word, like, currently, because I feel like millennials was used as an insult, but then we sort of took it back by saying it ourselves. But it's like, are we going to actually make our own thing, or are we just going with that?
I think we're stuck with it.
Because no one thought up a new thing. And I remember there was like a long period where we were like, what the hell are we going to call ourselves?
I run ThinkPeaceBot, so I have to think about the word millennials a lot because I had to actually learn to spell it, which took me about a year of writing that.
Yeah, so your bots, I was curious as to how they're created, first of all, and how they're being used. According to I think I read it on your Patreon, it said it was to take on, and I'd never seen this word before, and I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more, boomer-splaining.
Oh, yeah.
That really does encapsulate all of it, because that's all that bullshit is. No millennials are writing articles about how millennials are not buying diamonds or are destroying Applebee's.
Neither are any Gen X people, like, for the most part. It's just boomers. Like, the Gen X and Gen Z, like, above and below us, are definitely also sick of this shit. And Gen X had to go through the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, no, I mean, I bet you if you go back far enough, I bet you'll find some article in the newspaper saying, are boomers ruining the radio? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can go back to, like, ancient Greek texts about how the kids these days don't respect their elders. It's literally as old as written history.
You think if these guys were so smart, they would be able to be like, hey, wait a minute, maybe I need to step back and stop, feeding into the bullshit.
Well, if they were so smart, they wouldn't have ruined the economy and fallen for trickle-down economics, but there you go.
Outside my parents, I don't hear nearly enough people shit-talking Reagan for that shit that was the 80s. It's so weird how
Black people talk about him a
well,
lot.
See, I personally don't hear it all that much, or at least I didn't growing up. I only just recently kind of started hearing it, which is a shame, because I don't think a lot of people our age really know how devastating that was of a time for civil rights, and it's why people these days don't understand why the term states' rights is just, like, inherently racist, and how that, like, is how it supersedes human rights.
I think one of the guys is actually caught on tape. I think it was Barry Goldwater, when he was talking about, like, no, see, if we just say states' rights, you're diluting the original argument, because we can't say that we, don't want black people to have rights anymore, because it's not PC enough to say that. So now we have to say this. It sort of reverses what political correctness was supposed to be for. It was supposed to be like, hey, watch what you're saying, because it offends certain people. And maybe you didn't have to think about that before, but, think about that now. But for these people, it turns into, wait a minute, oh, that offends people? Okay, what can I say where I can still screw people over, but you don't give me shit for it?
Did you see that Arizona is going to be, like, the next state to discuss whether or not to take down the Confederate memorials? Or monuments, rather. And it was every single person sharing that on Twitter is pointing out that Arizona wasn't a state during the Civil War, so any monuments that are out there have nothing to do with history and everything to do with racism.
It's like, well, you can't even front.
Arizona is, like, weirdly, aspirationally awful.
It is weird that you would go out of your way to have Confederate monuments.
Yeah, it's like, you're not even counted as the South. Like, does Arizona count as the South?
No, it's like this whole area is the Southwest generally, like the whole Four Corners area. There's just a cultural establishment that is just very mad that they're on the border with Mexico and really wants to not be.
It's like, well, you know what? You can move. How about you move, bro? How about you move your ass to some other fucking neighborhood where you don't have to be surrounded with oh, you don't like being moved off your spot? Who could sympathize with you on that plight?
I can tell you, my friend from Portland had told me time and time again that despite the liberal progressive reputation that city gets, it is racist as fuck out there.
I've heard that too.
My friend was telling me about the restaurant where I think it either was still there or it's left up for historical purposes, where the whole entrance is just you're walking into a cartoon black man's mouth.
What?
And it's like the big, like, scrub me mama with a boogie beat face. Well, you look up that. I didn't want to get too far away without asking about the bots and the think pieces and all that and how exactly that worked. You had mentioned it before as to how you get that made or how you make those bots, but it went over my head. How exactly do you create a Twitter bot?
I'm not a programmer. The stuff that I use is really dead simple to get started with, and you get to sort of build the complexity as you go along. And so they're set up like sort of a combination of stuff like if you've played Mad Libs before, and then there's a whole bunch of lists that get drawn in from the blank space. And so I have like a formula that's like R blank ruining blank. And so the first blank draws from the generational markers list. So it says, it mostly, like, I put the word millennials in there like 15 times so that it mostly lands on millennials, but it'll occasionally say Gen Y, or it'll occasionally grab Gen Z or teens or tweens. Then it grabs something like capitalism or corn mazes or Pokemon, and then comes out with a result like are millennials ruining Pokemon. And then there's about 120 formulas I think I have at this point. Those different formulas so that there's enough of them that it mostly is grammatical and it mostly gets it, but every once in a while is wrong, and I keep considering fixing it, but people seem to really like it when it screws up every once in a while because it sounds more like a robot and reminds them that it's not a real headline. But that's sort of an artistic value and not like a technical thing.
So is the absurdity of what it comes up with, is it mostly for the comedic value, or is it to kind of subvert people that might already kind of be thinking along those same lines of like, millennials are ruining this, and just like for them to share it, not realizing that it isn't a real thing? Like,
I get people responding a lot that are like, I looked for the link. Like, I would love to make this so ubiquitous that people stop writing headlines like that, because a lot of the time people like a lot of it's very popular with journalists because most journalists don't get to write their own headlines and hate it. And so I'm like making fun of their editors also.
Right. Like, so they'll appreciate it too.
Yeah, well, I mean, also journalists are pretty good at I mean, mostly are pretty good at taking a joke, making fun of their industry. Like, as far as people who are cool with making fun of what they do, I think journalists are pretty chill with that.
What I was reminded of initially with this concept was there was an episode of Samantha Bee where she had these like Russian teens on whose whole job it was to create like fake propaganda news stories to kind of influence American voters. And I just think about that, where I think about people who are just on Twitter, and in most cases, especially if you can get the whole headline without having to actually click the link, most people are not reading the stories. As if it's a grabbing enough headline, and if it happens to be about millennials, I'm sure someone with an American bald eagle flag default icon will share the shit out of that, not even reading it, just because it feeds into their into their narrative.
Yeah. But, I mean, also, the whole propaganda, like, the for-profit propaganda network is sort of, like, it's peripheral to it, but the whole clickbait thing ends up being...
Could you call it profit-ganda? Huh? Did I coin a new word? Huh? All right, continue.
A little late.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Rewinding just a second, Darren. If you Google... And I apologize in advance. The Coon Chicken Inn.
I just Googled it. Yeah, I found it.
Did you see what I was talking about?
I don't think it's still around because I couldn't find any
okay, good.
current pictures of it.
It's horrific.
But it was just like, oh my god.
Wasn't that a subplot in Ghost World?
What?
It really does feel out of something like Night Vale or something like that.
What's confusing to me is that, like, just from an aesthetic perspective, this looks horrible. Like, even taking out, like, race, why would you, like, want to invite people to a place that looks like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's honestly, like, scary and weird.
Like, you know what I really want in restaurants is Vore. I want to think about Vore when I'm going out to eat. And, like, what I really want is racist Vore.
Racist Vore. Dude, I think that's an untapped DeviantArt subgenre. Racist Vore.
There's no way that's untapped.
I don't know what that is, but please do not explain.
Okay.
I just tried looking it up, and it had something to do with swallowing something whole, and I'm like, I don't need to know any more about what the fuck is going on.
I think you about got it. I think you know all you need to know about it.
I don't need to know any more of this shit. Moving right the fuck on.
What we were originally going to talk about was Laci Green being red-pilled. We are late to the party.
And it's going to be even later by the time this shit goes up.
Only by a couple days. I have a really good feeling, people will still be talking about it by Saturday. So, I was thinking about it because should we be talking about these two YouTubers' personal relationship? And then I thought about it. Just about every YouTuber we've talked about, it had to do with a sort of personal situation. When we talked about PewDiePie, JonTron, the Daddy-O5 family. That was personal, but who wasn't talking about that? That one woman whose name I forgot right now, Maria or Marina.
Yeah, the chick who's like,
everyone thought she was
weird.
being kidnapped or being like held against her will to make videos.
Yeah, I'm joining a cult apparently. Like she actually wrote like a Facebook post about joining a cult or something.
Laci Green, sex expert on YouTube. That's how she kind of got her foot in the door.
Yeah, and I remember people. I remember you see the fucking trolls all the time talking about, "Hey, Laci Green is the worst. Am I right? She's horrible." And like I checked out one or two of her videos. I was like, "Oh, she's just talking about when you want to have sex with someone, you should give consent." I was like, "What? What's the problem?"
But the biggest part of it, relevant to the story, is that she was, at least for a time, seen as a sort of feminist, like spokesperson or activist. And the issue now is that she's currently in a relationship with a YouTuber who is known for being a misogynistic douche.
Oh, who is it? Who is it?
Chris Raygun.
Okay.
I'm never sure where people are with the, like, history of these misogynistic hate movement stuff. And so I don't want to be, like, explaining to you. Can you tell me, like, what you remember from Gamergate? Just so I don't end up going on for, like, 4 hours on stuff you already know.
Oh, yeah. Darren, I forgot. He was kind of involved in the Gamergate shit.
Oh,
you probably needed to know that.
Where him being a shit starts.
Okay.
I was just, like, searching his Twitter for, like, asshole keywords just to, like, double check and see how recently he used a bunch of horrible words just to, like, get a brief overview on whether or not this dude was, like, maybe recently being better or something. And he was just posting, like, Islamophobic shit about terrorism yesterday. So this is definitely not a, like, dude has changed situation. I hadn't heard of him specifically until, like, before the whole Laci Green thing exploded. Someone, like, tagged me into a thread of his to try to get him to look at my timeline and harass me for being an evil social justice warrior, which he luckily ignored, because that's always deeply annoying when that happens, and it happens like about once a month for me. And so, like, there was this whole thing with Laci Green being red pilled and all this stuff, and the main thing is, like, it's really less about that she's dating this guy and more just, like, hanging around with these people and validating their opinions as being something that a progressive voice should listen to.
Okay, see, I didn't know that she was dating this dude. Like, I thought it was just like, yo, all right, this is how I took it, right? Because I heard, hey, I'm Laci Green, I'm very sex positive, you know, but like a lot of people that are kind of aggressive, kind of like shit on me. But I wanted to talk to some of the people who are on the other side or whatever and be like, yo, maybe you guys aren't hearing me right. Maybe there's something getting lost in translation. Let's open up a dialogue so we can directly talk to each other. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was purely on some, hey, let's talk to each other shit. I didn't realize she was dating this guy. I didn't realize it was like, we are romantically involved, and thus there is more of a, there's more of a direct motivation for why I want to get in the good graces of this fan base. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was on that level.
I first noticed, because I really hadn't heard about Laci in years, really. She hasn't really been making waves, so to speak. And then I saw that she had a debate with Blair White. And about maybe a week or two later, I'm seeing, you know, oh, am I taking the red pill? Oh. And for those who don't know Blair White, both of them kind of benefit in the same regard, that they are both conventionally attractive, and I'm sure that has something to do with the alt-right being so willing to listen. It's like, oh, we got one of their big names, we got one of these big social justice warriors to listen to us. And that is where I think the confusion comes in, because you still got a lot of people who look at it as, what's so wrong with opening up a dialogue.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking at first. I was like, I don't understand what's wrong. Like
during the election, right? I told my friend, hey, just to hear what the other side is saying, kind of humoring, I kind of listened to Rush Limbaugh to hear what the other side was saying. And my friend told me, dude, that's not what the other side is saying. That's what the fucking fringe is saying. You shouldn't really be giving too much credence to that, because that is so farther than what the run-of-the-mill person is saying. So when you're giving credence or listening to these anti-SJWs that are so, hateful in their speech on Twitter, it isn't so much opening up a dialogue, it's giving a microphone to someone who's, I'm not going to say 100% spewing hate speech, although I'm sure some of it would apply or fall into that category, but it's not exactly like you're giving the rationalist.
Right. So it's like you're the rational person, and you're talking to who is a person who's vocal, but isn't actually the representation of more conservative minds.
I think Blair White is a really useful example to look at for this, because Blair White is trans and has a audience of people who are deeply invested in being extremely misogynistic and transphobic, as well as, all these bigotries all hold hands and love each other. So all the other whole, she's posting racist shit and everything like that too. And her whole deal is that she makes transphobes feel better about themselves by posting transphobic shit herself. And
right. I'm not transphobic. My favorite YouTuber is trans. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so one of my side projects, I run a bunch of bots that mention people who term search themselves on Twitter or whose fans term search them and yell at them, and they're these are extremely simple bots that just pick between less than 20 responses and only work on people who are extremely aggro. And the one that gets the most people arguing with it is Blair White, because Blair White has a bunch of term searching people who find people who are talking shit about her and then at her on the responses to attempt to get her attention. And it's extremely transparent and creepy. And so it's so I kind of feel bad for her, because she clearly has an audience that is mostly transphobic chasers who don't want to who want, in the way that you get people who are I'm not racist because I like watching interracial porn kind of thing. and it's trans people have the same deal, the same kind of deal, and frequently they're intersectional, where it's I'm not racist and transphobic because I'm into watching trans black porn. And if you want to there's a certain point where I'm just if you can manage to make a buck off of these assholes, feel free to do it. But when you're confirming all of their worst ideas about trans people and making it okay to say those, then that you're seriously fucking up and doing a lot of collateral damage. And that's what Blair White does.
And so by platforming them, what you're saying is, it doesn't matter what their point is. The people who are more susceptible to be interested in going to that side, they're already going to be pulling even more for that, instead of trying to uplift voices that are going against what the typical norm is that represents a more progressive change. Would be a better idea, right? I hope exactly. I just formulated a sentence. Halfway through, I was just wait, I know I'm just saying adjectives right now.
No, you've got it.
So that's what people mean when they say don't platform these people, because the people who are on the fence but leaning towards that more bullshit agenda, because of the way history has gone so far, which has lent itself to being transphobic, which has lent itself to being homophobic, which has lent itself to being racist, because that's the way things have been so far, because we haven't been critically thinking about these issues. We're finally now critically thinking about these issues, and these people who would lead us into those regressive ideas again, to give them a platform is to just be reinforcing what we've been trying to get away from.
And a lot of the time, people will try to do this thing where they're like, let's humanize and listen to their perspective. Let's look into the brains of the Milo fans and understand where they're coming from. And it's like, we know where they're coming from. Like, we can't block all of them on Twitter fast enough to not know where they're coming from.
Well, actually, I would say where they're coming from, the reason why we understand it already is because that rhetoric is already woven within our society, like up to this point. That's what we're untangling. We're untangling the hatred. We already know what it is.
Why don't trans people listen to the people who've been screaming slurs at them our whole lives?
Yeah.
Like, because we're tired of it. We've been doing, like, the people that want you dead don't have anything interesting to say. They just want you dead. Like, they have a bunch of excuses for it, and we know all of them already because we've been directly fighting them for all this time. And, like, since I posted about the Laci Green stuff, I keep getting people who are like, you need to get out of your liberal echo chamber. And it's like, I have left my house before. I know what this is.
Well, have you really thought about the people who want you to die? I mean, have you really thought about what they think? Like, yeah, I have. I really have.
I just think it's fascinating that you've got people coming at you defending Laci who probably up until a month ago wouldn't have given a shit about her.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're term searching. She's term searching her own name, or people are sending stuff to her and she's responding to it. I'm not sure which one it is, but
that's funny. I find that funny. People term
I need
searching.
to put her in the honeybots and do an update so that I can divert some of this attention from real people, because I know a lot of people who are really getting sick of dealing with the shit. I made the honeybots to be a drop in the bucket against harassment, because it's emptying the ocean with a bucket to attempt to, like, wade in and waste the time of harassers. Like, it's a blip on how much of like cannon fire that like half a dozen bots can take. But at the same time, it's so cathartic watching someone argue with a bot that has less responses than a Magic 8-Ball about social justice issues that they don't actually understand or care about. And then they think that they're really smart coming out of it. And it's just like, it feels very good to watch these people think they're getting one over on something that's basically rolling a d20 to argue with them.
This week on the Going Off podcast, we are talking about Neva Left, do we even need to look up what number album this is of Snoop Dogg? I have no idea.
Maybe like the 15th?
Oh my god.
I actually went into it really positively, actually. Because I was thinking, like, well, first of all, there's the initial, like, wait a minute, if no one's talking about this and this is one of, like, the most famous entertainers, like, of the modern age, it must be really good. Because that's usually what happens. It's like, I'm actually doing something good and no one gives a shit. But yeah, I went into this thinking, like, and then he did that. I remember there was that Bush album that he did a couple years ago. It was actually, like, really, really like creative and like was branching out his sound sort of. And I was thinking like, oh, maybe at this stage in the game, he feels comfortable to where he can experiment with more things and make more creative things and branch out and be a more creative artist because he's not tempered by trying to be popular. Wrong. So, listen to this album the first time. I was actually kind of confused by like the amount of sort of East Coast sampling that he was doing.
Well, he says that a few times in the album about switching from East Side to West Side.
Yeah, but it was just like, all right, but if the idea is that you never left the West, like, why do you keep sampling like Wu-Tang Clan and A Tribe Called Quest? Like, that was just weird.
See, I think that could be taken a couple different ways of having never left. Because at some points in the album, it feels like he never left the 90s. Because there's some songs on here that sound old school as shit. Like they're either...
the Big Mouth song?
Oh my god, yeah.
That that sounded like 1981. And the intro was weird too. Like he was saying it as if he was like inventing this new term to use. You know? It's like, yeah, there's big mouth people out there. Big mouth. Like he kept saying big mouth. Motherfuckers keep running their mouth and shit. Big mouth motherfuckers. Yo, we gonna tell you about these big mouth motherfuckers. It's like, yeah, I know. I've heard this term before.
I like how he says big ass mouth.
Yeah.
Big ass mouth.
Yo, big ass mouth.
Yeah, there were a couple points in the album that had shit like that, where it's like, why is this on here? Why is this taking so long? Like, there's that song with Big Mouth where he repeats himself a lot. Like, you could just be like, there's a lot of big mouth motherfuckers out there running their mouths. And then the song just starts.
Yeah, exactly. I kept expecting the song to start and he would just keep talking.
Yeah, like he would stop for a second and he would just come back like a big mouth motherfucker. It's like, dude!
Yeah!
Snoop! I got it! But then there's another song, I forget which track it is, but it just starts with someone screaming, "Leave me alone! I make my money my way! Leave me alone! Just please! Leave me alone!" And it just goes on and on.
Every time I thought it was over, yeah, it would just keep happening again.
What was the point of that?
I don't know. Cause like he would just, I thought maybe there was like they were doing a thing where they were like cutting it and repeating it and maybe it was gonna be part of the beat. But no, that guy was just really that repetitive.
Was it on Vapors?
Couldn't have been.
Well, I mean, the song was long as shit.
Which I also didn't like. It was like a remix of the song from the 90s, which was a remake of the Biz Markie song.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool, but I don't think, if you're having like a full album, I don't think you should have remixes of older songs on it. You know, it's like either put it on that original album or put it out for free or put it on a best of or like a compilation, like not on a completely new project.
I don't know what the hell to say about some of these songs, honestly. Like,
you know, I would actually say the opposite. I would say the problem with these songs, and not in the good way, I'd say the problem with these songs is that they're not interesting enough.
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of songs with like just 2 verses, and it just feels incomplete. Moment I Fear, Back in the Days, and Promise You This all sound like they're going for something in the title and just never fully coming all the way around to it.
I don't know what moment he feared. Shouldn't I know that by now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like...
And what is he gonna promise me?
Yeah, this is the moment. I thought it was gonna be about paranoia, or maybe growing irrelevant in the rap industry, or something like that. Like, I was like, oh, that would be a cool, mature topic to, like, come with. Like, because Moment I Fear does not sound like a generic rap song title. It sounds like it's about something. Yeah. And I was like, oh, track 2 on the album, we're gonna get into something. Because the first song was kind of like, hey, this is sort of me at different points in my life. And the second song would be like, hey, this is a fear that I have. But no, it's just a sort of generic song. Like, this could have been at any point in the album. It could have not been on the album. Like, this could have been a leftover. But for it to be track 2, it was just like, oh, okay, you're already just gonna sort of drop the, you know, unmemorable joints on us.
A lot of tracks on here were, I mean, I know this shouldn't be a surprise to people who are at all familiar with Snoop Dogg, but there was a heavy focus on pot use throughout the album, to the point where you've got songs called 420, Blaze Up, and Mount Cushmore.
Can I say this, though? Those were the 2 best songs on the fucking album.
You know, they're the ones I have the least complaints about, so I'd probably agree with you.
That chorus is so fucking smooth for 420 Blaze Up. They all actually had like good verses. Like, I like Devin the Dude's verse. I actually like Wiz Khalifa's verse. Snoop Dogg came in with he wasn't just talking gangsta shit. He was just like, wow, America's gonna legalize this, man. I didn't believe it till it finally happened. It's like, wow, you're actually talking about a topic and not just, we on that gangsta shit. You know,
what was that one song where he was talking about his grandkids?
I think it was Go On.
Go On. Yeah, that's right.
But it actually is like a cool sort of summertime joint. Like, I would like to actually hear this being played. You know, and it's not on no gangster shit. He's just like, he's actually talking about his life. Like, hey, I've got fucking kids and I like to take them to the fucking park and we like to have a good time. It's like, this is cool. I like this Snoop Dogg. I like this grown up, adult, mature, talking about where his life is right now, Snoop Dogg. I don't like the, oh, remember back in the days when I used to be a gangbanger? It's like, yeah, we know you used to be a gangbanger, okay?
Remember It Never Left where he's like, rapper, that ain't me. Gangsta, you know it's me, or some shit like that?
Yeah, it's just like, really?
Come on, Snoop.
And then he has a confusing line in the interlude where he goes like, you know, they say if you watch something long enough, you'll become it. You know, they say imitation is the best form of flattery. A lot of niggas is imitating me because I'm on real gangster shit. And it's just like, wait, but you're saying that people imitating you aren't real, but you just said if you watch something long enough, you become it. So what are you trying to say here?
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary. That interlude.
Yeah, no, none of them were. And then there was like, promise you this, which is like, oh, like, I promise you this. But he doesn't really tell you what he promises you.
No.
Like, is he gonna promise you? Like, it's implied that he promises you an ass whooping if you fuck with him, but you didn't explicitly, like, say that at all. Like, well, he starts it off saying, say, man, that nigga Snoop Dogg promised me a record deal, man. That nigga promised me he was gonna come over and do some things with me, man. He promised me this, he promised me a whole lot of stuff, but he didn't come through. It's like, well, okay, if you started off the song saying, don't ask me for shit because I won't give it to you, like, okay, that's at least, like, legit, you know, respectable, whatever. But you literally started off with a character saying, he specifically promised me something and he's not doing it. You just sound like an asshole now who goes back on his word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Untrustworthy Snoop.
Yeah, exactly. On the chorus, he says, like, I don't even promise my family nothing, but I promise you this. It's just like, wow, now you just sound like a dick to your, like, family. Like, isn't rap supposed to be all about, like, yeah, we're loyal to this, but if you're just out here saying, nah, man, I don't even promise my fucking wife nothing, it's like, well, geez, fuck you, man. It's like, that's your wife, goddammit.
The two worst songs, Trash Bags and Swivel.
Oh, my God. Oh, my, back to back, too.
Yeah, that was hard. You got Trash Bags full of cash, although it sounds like he's saying Trash Bags funnel cakes.
No, it's not like saying trash bag full of cat. Like he just hates the last sounds on words. He just won't say them.
The fucking chorus of Swivel is dog shit.
What is? I got my head on a swivel. Eyes peeled when I wiggle?
This ain't a starter pistol. Oh no.
Do gangsters wiggle, bro? Oh yeah, wiggling.
I got the wiggling fever.
Don't make me wiggle up to your spot.
What's the fucking first line that he starts that with? That like, I'ma send you a missile.
It's like, whoa.
A fucking missile?
Are we starting with this?
Yeah, I can send you a missile. Got my head on a swivel.
And then eyes peeled when I wiggle. No, but okay, so we have these two songs, and like, okay, up until this point on the album, it's been a consistent sort of West Coast sound, and it's like, you know what? Hey, this is just what he does, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, except for the parts where it sounds specifically East Coast, because he's sampling the song that Cream sampled, and, you know, and stuff like that, but there's a consistent enough West Coast sort of, like, you hear the synthesizer whine noise, you know, and the deep bass and stuff like that, and you get the Trash Bags, and it's like, where you could have at least appreciated it for being a Snoop Dogg album and sounding like him, Trash Bags just sounds generic.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like exactly where it fucking belongs, in a goddamn trash bag. Because it's just like, I've heard this song. I can hear this song anywhere. I want to hear what Snoop Dogg sounds like.
I got a question. You're talking about the instruments and all that. What instrument makes that one sound? You know the sound, like the Snoop Dogg West Coast sound.
Yeah, the wee. Yeah.
The one that's like, it's like you had like a metal thing and you're like shaking it back and forth. It's from like the San Andreas theme.
Huh? Wait, what are you talking about? I do want to talk about the good points. So the good points are 420 Blaze It. Where it's just like it's a nice fucking song to smoke weed to. That song is nice.
Yeah.
Then you have Lavender, which is interesting because I thought that was just like a remix, just one-off song, but I'm glad to hear it actually on an album because it is a really dope fucking song.
Yeah, this was the one that I failed to mention last week, and I wanted to, and I forgot because of the Kathy Griffin decapitating Trump head thing. Was that before that whole happened, Snoop was shooting a fucking Joker bang gun at Trump clown that everyone already forgot about.
It sounds like a cool evolution of Snoop Dogg's sound. Like, it still has the whiny synths, but it sounds like harder and harsher. And I kind of wish the album would have gone in this direction. Like, maybe he just needs to work with Bad, Bad, Not Good, because, like, this is the sound that would be really cool for Snoop. And it sounds like this weird, the lyrics are just about, like a black takeover of America. And it's just fucking crazy. And it was like, all right, this is a cool concept. Like, whatever. He's like, yeah, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, huh, motherfucker? But, I mean, of course, it's not really that political. I mean, it is still Snoop Dogg. But, it's like, it's a cool sort of mood song of just like the sort of like, oh yeah, retribution, that sort of thing. Like an idea that doesn't really do that great, but it's an idea. And I really appreciated it because it's just like the mood that it gives you, People always talking about, oh man, music doesn't have to actually mean anything. It's just like a mood. Rappers just have to give you a mood. Well, this gives you a good fucking mood. So y'all can dig that shit.
Yeah.
Then you have KRS-One on Let Us Begin. Bro, I remember when seeing the name featuring KRS-One used to be like cool.
God.
Like, oh my god, KRS-One, yeah, it's awesome.
It got a fucking eye roll from me. I saw his name and I was like,
me too.
Man.
Yeah, I was like, KRS-One, especially on a Snoop Dogg song.
Oh yeah, because you know what you're getting. This is a problem with KRS-One, is that, on certain points I said, hey, it sounds like Snoop Dogg never left the 90s. There's still some tracks on here that have fucking trap beats, and it's Snoop kind of working his way into the modern, but whenever you have fucking KRS-One featured on a song, it's always fucking 1987. It just has to, the first things you hear is just, bop, 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 and just like, oh no. Here he comes. Like, you're already just looking down at your shoes, like, maybe if he doesn't see, if we don't make eye contact, he won't start. And for a while there, he doesn't. It takes a while for his verse to kick in.
But then when it does, have you heard the song Bling Blung?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where it was like this fucking gimmicky just flow for the whole goddamn song. Bling blong. First you in a bling, then you in a blong.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and he was like, I bling blong these rappers with everything that they bring, I brung. And there used to be a show with a gong, and when the gong, you was gung. It was just like, stop
it's
it.
So bad. But now, in 2017, it's brrr, they come around and like, it's so bad. Oh my god. You have no idea how hard I laughed when fucking KRS-One is doing this whole thing to like, gun sounds, and it's like, back in the day. I can't.
Yo, alright, here's what happens.
Back in the day when the phones went. It's like, fuck you.
Here's what he does.
Oh, God.
Here's what he fucking does. He comes up with a concept, kind of starts to wrap it around the social commentary thing, and then he just randomly comes up with like, hey, this kind of sounds like this. Like, because with that Bling Blung song, he was talking about how like, the retaliation that happens to you. You get the bling, and then you get the blung, you get the riches, but then you get the retribution that comes with that. And then he always just says something like randomly associated with that noise. Like I said, with that other song, he was like, hey, by the way, there used to be a show with a gong, and when the gong gonged, you were gone, eh? And with this one, he's like, the brr in Iraq lasts for weeks. Whack rappers, I'm crushing these creeps. Like the fucking Ruffles have riches commercials. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Ruffles have riches. And then, but then he goes, Knowledge reigns supreme. I take you back to the days when the telephone used to ring.
Oh,
it's like,
God.
Why did you say that? There was no reason to say that other than, I'm doing the thing.
And Snoop even fucking encourages it later by going like, they don't make phones the way they used to. Like, we're still on the phones? Why are we talking about old phones? Fucking Childish Gambino did that shit in 3 seconds better on World Star. Cell phone, AK, money counter.
Oh, yeah.
He does that real quick, and then it's just over. He didn't base a whole verse on it.
Oh, my God. But skipping that, we get to the best song on this album. And by the way, it has a music video for it. Would you like to see the music video for Mount Cushmore?
Oh, no. Oh, no, I think I saw it in the thing real quick. Oh, no!
Yeah, that's back.
It's fucking Blue Carpet Treatment cartoon! Oh, my God! And they got Trump in it! Oh, no! Oh, Donald Trump called me up, fucking had to cheat on his wife. I told him how to fuck a bitch. Oh my God. And it's not any better. It's exactly as bad.
I know, it's been like 10 years.
Holy shit, dude. This is fucking nostalgic for somebody, but not me. This is enraging.
And what I love is, like, the music video, all the chicks, their boobs are just as, like, unbelievably bouncy.
Oh God, this fucking chick's twerking with, like, a jar of, like, okra in her ass cheeks. Oh, it's Nugs. Okay, I wasn't sure. I guess that does make sense in a song called Mount Cushmore, but I didn't think about it right away. Oh my God, I can't believe the balls. The absolute nerve. And they're blowing up the faces on Mount Rushmore to make them look like the rappers' faces. Wow. That's not a bad idea, but holy shit, in this horrible animation, it looks really bad.
But, the song is actually really good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It has, it has the 4 guys that I would expect to be on a Mount Cushmore in a rap song. Fucking Method Man, Redman, Be Real, and Snoop Dogg. It's just like, yep, all right, this is the team. I can see that.
Yeah.
Then we get Still Here.
I'm Still Here.
Which is, Kendrick shows up at the beginning, but don't get your hopes up because he doesn't do anything.
Does he? I didn't even catch that.
No, it's literally this guy going like, yo, I heard Snoop Dogg's back. And Kendrick's like, yeah, chill, little bro. Like, he never left. That's the whole, yeah. It's like, so you brought Kendrick in just to say that you're still here? I'm listening to the album. I know that you're still here.
You had to open up with a song called Never Left and still felt that you needed a song called I'm Still Here.
You know what? If that's not a hint that you feel that you're irrelevant, you need 2 songs to tell everyone, I'm still here.
Desperately clinging to remind them.
It's like, well, you know what? How about you do something to make it matter that you're still here? Because this is once again another song where, at least that Rastafarian album, hey, at least it was something different. This is actually weird because, okay, so Snoop Dogg just stopped doing the Rastafarian thing.
Yeah.
Remember that? There was a time where he was doing it, and then he just kind of stopped, and no one said anything. It was just somebody put out a press release where it was like, he's Snoop Dogg again. And it's just like, no one's gonna go so what happened? What happened? Did they kick you out or something?
They didn't want you there.
Yeah, did you fail the test of being a Rastafarian? What happened? But he brings it up in here where he's just like, yeah, Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion, it's all the same. It's like, well then why did it matter that you changed anyway?
Why'd you make such a big to-do?
Yeah, exactly. Why even bring it up here on the second to last song of the album if it's just gonna be oh yeah, remember that? I'm still kind of that, I guess.
I can still be that if you want me to.
Yeah, it's just weird. Then you get Love All Around the World, which is a great sort of outro track. It sounds really cool, but once again, it's a song title that doesn't really tell you what the song's gonna be about, because I'm thinking it's gonna be about oh, I go to this place and I get love. I go to that place and I get love. I'm that guy. But it's not really. Just a sort of typical, vague, sort of like, I'm cool Snoop Dogg still.
Everyone loves me. Everyone thinks I'm so cool.
Yeah, like, you could have ended with the Still Here song. Hey, at least it could have been like a wraparound, like, never left and still here. The first song's never left, last song, I'm still here. Like, maybe it could have been like a ride out, like, I'll still be here, like, years from now, or something like that. The rating that I have for putting all the stuff together is like 2.875. So, like, slightly below average.
Yeah. I would give it somewhere between 2.5 and a 3. 3 sounds fair. I wouldn't recommend it.
Maybe he doesn't care, and that's fine, but, like, I hear where it could go, and I just sort of shake my head. I'm just like, it's a damn shame. This could have been really cool. It could have been cool to be like, yo, don't sleep on Snoop Dogg. I know you guys just assume, oh, Snoop Dogg, the silly guy who just smokes weed, but, like, no, he's actually still making really cool music, but I can't really say that,
For the Going Off podcast, thank you so much for checking us out this week. Thank you very much to our guest Nora Reed for stopping by, twitter.com/Nora Reed, and I also think that's patreon.com/Nora Reed. If this is your first time listening to the show, first of all, greatly appreciate it. You can hear all our old episodes on Twitter and SoundCloud. Subscribe to our show on iTunes. That's the easiest way to go about it. You get all the new episodes whenever they're posted. And until next week, for the Going Off podcast, I'm Muse.
And I'm the Rap Critic, telling you to pay the people that you want to work for you.